As the leaves turn green and the flowers bloom, the Nindies Spring Showcase descended upon us this morning. With 14 new titles for the Switch, we're ready to go through and give you our take. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. Gabe is here. 14, 14, 14. That is not the date, but in fact the number of games that were featured in today's 11-minute Nindies Showcase. We'll start right off the bat, and make sure to let us know in the comments below which of these games you're most excited for. But we'll start with one that I know Gabe is incredibly excited for, and that is Mark of the Ninja Remastered. Clay Entertainment does phenomenal work. I'm the biggest fan of their Don't Starve line of games, but Mark of the Ninja was one of my Xbox Live Arcade favorites back in 2012, and now they're bringing a HD remaster to the Switch this fall.
Yeah, originally 2012, long time ago. And I've said this before, I have a very terrible memory when it comes to games, so hopefully this feels really fresh. Taking this on the go is going to be a really good time. Zach, I want to sneak around in real life, maybe break into some compound while playing Mark of the Ninja, so I can have ninjaception of some kind.
What are you going to be stealing from these compounds?
Oh no, I'm not going to steal. I just want to sneak. I don't want to.
Okay. I was gonna I'm gonna have to get some insurance on this company here, but luckily Gabe's just sneaking. I think that's okay. You can probably deal with the trespassing ticket yourself.
All right.
But Gabe, if you want to go back in time and sneaking isn't your style and more big brute force, Banner Saga 3 is coming to Switch and it will launch there first. That's important to note as that is a pretty big get and potentially the reason they saved it as the last announcement, as the Banner Saga franchise is beloved. Now, this third installment was funded on Kickstarter. It's coming this summer, but they're also bringing the first two games super soon to Switch. No specific date, but by summer, the entire trilogy will be there. It is a very hardcore, turn-based, grid-based tactics strategy game with story and decision-making along the way. They're actually, I'd say, very high quality, and they've been very well received. So I think this is, again, a really good get for Switch.
Yes, beautiful art style. I never thought that when the original Banner Saga was kickstarted that there was going to be two more of them. So that's really cool to see. People do love the franchise, even though, I always feel a type of way about Kickstarter games, but it's a quality release. It's coming to Switch, and I'm actually kind of excited for it. I didn't play the second one. I did play the first one. I don't think I'm going to go back and play the second one on Switch now, but I'll definitely hop on board to see what this epic conclusion that they mention is.
Yeah, it's a pretty, that's always a hard thing for me of it's smart to bring out past entries right before your new entry, but I always try to avoid that because I feel like it kills off some of the enthusiasm and the hype for the new one. Maybe that's just a me thing, but you can also go back. This was kind of like a blast from the past in more ways than one, but Luminous Remastered is coming. Enhanced Games is bringing it to Nintendo Switch. This was my first PSP game long time ago. I love the music, and I love the style. It is a very well-made music rhythm game. It's got, a mix of puzzly Tetris with rhythm. It's just great. That bar that goes back and forth is very anxiety-inducing, but when you are in the flow, you are in the flow. It's like playing DDR with your hands, and I really like it.
Yes, people are kind of losing it for this game a little bit on Twitter. People are really happy it's coming to the platform. So I never got a chance to play this one, and you claim to like it, so maybe we can do some of this. It does have local multiplayer that you can indulge in as well.
Yes, that one's hitting this spring. No specific dates across the entirety of this presentation, but windows, and they typically were spring-summer with Mark of the Ninja coming in the fall. But Just Shapes and Beats from Berserk Studios is another music-driven title. This one described as a musical bullet hell. It has solo, local, and online co-op. 20 chiptune artists contribute music, and it's a timed console exclusive on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, what'd you think of this one? Because just visually, it looked kind of cool, but I don't know how a music bullet hell game is gonna work.
I think it has a chance to be interesting. I feel like a lot of bullet hell style sort of top-down shooters have been announced lately for Switch. Obviously, this one is different because of the musical focus, the beat focus, and there is 4-player co-op, which is interesting. So I think if some feature is going to give it a chance to stand out, it will be that co-op. I personally felt like Luminous sort of overshadowed this, but hey, some people might be more into a shooter bullet hell style. Or maybe you're into something completely different, which is Reigns, Kings, and Queens. Now, this comes from Devolver Digital, and were very well received and highly regarded on iPhone. In fact, I think they were up for some of the App Store Game of the Year's awards, or rather, Games of the Year awards. And it's coming this spring. It has an exclusive local co-op mode. I'm not sure that's going to work because if you don't know, this game basically places you in the role of a king or a queen, and you have to make quick decisions by swiping these cards left or right. And so it's always either or decisions that affect the morale, the money, and just the overall mania of your kingdom. And you see how long you can survive. So it's a great phone game because you're just holding your phone vertically, swipe, swipe, swipe. I'm not sure exactly how it translates to Switch. I'm very curious at the price of this one, and I wonder how co-op is going to work. It's nice that they package both Kings and Queens together. They're very fun experiences. I'm just going to hope that the price comes in, where I feel, where I want it to be. And that would be, pretty darn cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played these. I don't indulge in mobile games very often, so you can probably move us on to this next one, which I'm actually crazy excited for.
Yeah, The Messenger, again from Devolver Digital, this time developed by Sabotage, is a... Gabe, you mentioned it kind of looks like Shinobi, but he's able to go back and forth between 8-bit and 16-bit. And it's like this time travel mechanic that it's not changing the graphics like, oh, just press a button if you want an 8 or 16. It's like two different worlds. And this dude, this messenger, is able to go back and forth. And there are, different upgrades, abilities, hidden levels, speed running opportunities as you go back and forth. And it looked like it can be done within levels. And it seems like it transforms the terrain and the experience itself.
Yeah, and this just like harkens back to so many games from childhood. Like, even some of the old Ninja Gaiden or Gaiden, however you want to pronounce it, like the old SNES ones and NES ones, this kind of reminds me of that. And I loved those when I was a kid. So this, like, it's purely based on nostalgia. And the gameplay looks like, it's really hard to do this gameplay in a bad way, like, because it's been perfected already. So now it's just about introducing the 8 and 16-bit, I don't want to call it a gimmick, but, the feature where you have a little bit of both, and hopefully gameplay's a little bit different, because, visually, yes, it'll be different, but we also want it to play a little bit different as well. So We'll see how this goes. Summer, so coming soon.
It looks really cool. Again, may you see some pushback because it is a pixel art, side-scrolling action game where there's a ton of those. But hey, they're saying it's not only a 8-bit action platformer, but it becomes a 16-bit Metroidvania with excellent replay value. So more than meets the eye in The Messenger. Fantasy Strike, another fighting game. Still wish we would get some details on
Pocket Rumble?
Pocket Rumble, yes, thank goodness. You talked about, Gabe, if they don't release these games, we're going to forget about them, and it's happening. My brain drain is, you're witnessing it live in living color. Fantasy Strike, in a world where fantasy meets martial arts, anything can become a weapon. It did look very pretty, and it has local and online multiplayer. Hey, if it comes out at the right price, it comes out at the right time, it could see itself, find a foothold. I think it's, we got the Street Fighter 30th anniversary collection coming. Hopefully Pocket Rumble coming. We pray Dragon Ball FighterZ coming. So when this one releases, I think will matter a lot. But there's a lot of old school fighters in the sort of the Neo Geo stuff, but I guess it's cool to see something wholly original. Yeah. Let's move to Pool Panic, which I think we have a little bit more enthusiasm for. It's from Adultswood Games and developed by Rekim, and it is launching first on Nintendo Switch later this year. It's up to 4 players, and it's basically playing pool wherever the heck you want. Deserts, cities, jungles, and it's weird looking, it's strange, and I embrace that creativity. This one was one of the highlights of the showcase for me. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but it definitely looks like a unique time, and sometimes that's what I'm searching for.
Yeah, so visually appealing. Do you play, have you ever, played pool, at all in person?
I have. I'm no good, but I have played, and I'm more of a ping pong person.
Okay. I too play pool a little bit every once in a while, and clearly this isn't a simulator or anything like that. I was just curious, but again, just visually is what the hype for this game kind of is born on. It just looks so striking and wacky and kind of fun.
Yeah, Garage seemed to be, outside of Banner Saga, one of the most highlighted announcements. Tiny Build went on and had their own little stream specifically dedicated to this game afterwards. Garage is a top-down shooter set in a gritty underworld. It takes inspiration from gory VHS-era B-movies. It's coming first to Switch on spring. We know Tiny Build has a big commitment to Switch, not big enough to bring speedrunners. Tears, tears, tears. But hey, this is a very gritty, very violent, shoot them all up, destroy the zombies, face weird bosses. And they said there's even like racing in it as well. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's top-down. Think maybe Hotline Miami, but with, like, the area being a little bit bigger other than just, like, a room that you're trying to get through. So, Hotline Miami is some of my favorite games. The music is so important in games like this, so we're going to have to see how that turns out for Garage here. But I love the aesthetic of it. You know, I'm into, like, this, like, very, I don't want to say, like, gory, but I like this kind of stuff in video games. Like I said, Hotline Miami is, like, one of my favorite indies of all time, so I'm kind of excited for this one, but I do wonder, like, how are they going to manage the fact that these areas are bigger, so they maybe take a little bit longer. I was, like, hoping that this is going to be a perfect game to take with you, sort of how Hotline Miami, the levels are so quick. I wonder how they're going to, like, balance that, but I'm going to definitely keep my eye on this one.
Yeah, it may take some of the aesthetic of Hotline Miami, but it seems like a much larger adventure. It has deeply designed levels filled with challenges and secrets, and it's far more of a fully fleshed out game than it is, you know, just like a room by room, kill box. So I'm curious if you'll like it once you play. Lightfall looks pretty neat. It's from Bishop Games, and it is a platforming adventure where you manipulate the Shadow Core, a magical box that you use to propel yourself into the air. We kind of at first said, like, can you die? Because he just makes this box appear at any moment. But I'm sure there are restrictions, or at least dexterity, needed to pull this off. It heavily focuses on speedrun, and it launches first on Nintendo Switch this spring.
Yeah, you know, we kind of joked, like, hey, it kind of looks like Shu because there was, like, a wave, like, chasing you. So I think some of the difficulty is going to have to come from the environment. Like, there's no enemies or anything like that. You're just trying to traverse. We saw, like, the environment collapsing and a couple of the frames there as well. So, yeah, I mean, it could be fun. Price is going to be very important for this one.
Yeah, and honesty isn't something we like to shy away from. So this is sort of the part of the Nindies Showcase where I got worried at, you know, is this just a similarity splat at this point? Lightfall looks like, you know, they're taken from, like, the Limbo era. It just looks very done. But that's not to say it couldn't be excellent. But it will need to step outside of its shoes, I guess. And Bomb Chicken is another one that was like, why is this being featured? But again, hey, Bomb Chicken is about bombing stuff with chickens to escape tricky situations and discover secret areas. It's a old-fashioned chicken platformer, my favorite genre. And hey, I think you know right off the bat if this is your thing or not. So I'm going to move us straight to Pode. 2 unlikely travel companions embark on an adventure in this co-op explorative puzzle game. To me, the cool part about Pode is that it's inspired by Norwegian art and culture. It launches this spring. It does look a lot like other co-op puzzle adventures. And I don't know, like we definitely are starting to see and feel sort of that, like, glut of, like, so many games in similar style. And that's why things like, you know, at the top, Banner Saga, Mark of the Ninja, initially Pocket Rumble, Morphe's Law, you know, they stand out because they are genres that are not typically done on the eShop. It's sort of this section where it feels kind of like, okay, like it I don't know, for me, and what do you think, Gabe? It takes a lot for a game like Pode from Henchman and Goon to stand out, or for Lightfall to stand out, because there's so many similar looking experiences already available.
Oh, I completely agree. And the other thing, right, and I know this is kind of what the Switch is built on, we can't do online multiplayer with this, so you have to have someone next to you. I know for you and I, it's a little bit of a hindrance because we would like to play together and we're just not able to. So that's another thing that kind of, like, you know, mellows my excitement for things like this. But I mean, you're right. It looks like a lot of other games that are on Switch already.
You know what doesn't look like really much on Switch? Well,
What?
now that I say that, I can think of one. But just clear your mind for a second. West of Loathing. This is a slapstick comedy stick figure game. There recently was a stick figure tower defense game. I was going to say this is wholly unique, but it is in the sense that it's a hilarious game full of puzzles, quests, turn-based combat. and it is a console exclusive on the Switch. It previously was released on Steam with very positive reviews, so this is one that could sort of bring things back up to an exciting level. It's very different, very unique, and it is side-scrolling. It is old-school art. It's not going to win over probably that many people, but it does have a chance to be an excellent addition, given that we know it's a quality product already and doing something pretty different, which I respect.
Yeah. Oh, man, these last two games are all about directions. That's West of Loathing. The next one's Zach.
Hey, let's go Bad North, which, for me, after digesting this Nindies Direct, was the highlight, because it looks so darn unique. It is a Viking-themed title. It is a roguelike RTS, and you have these little islands where you are looking to battle, protect, and survive. It's hitting this summer. It seems like a simple game, but it seems like one that is executed with a lot of flair, and that's kind of my cup of tea. So I will be drinking this one up in summer. I wish it was coming sooner. It's just very visually appealing. It's very charming. It's from Raw Fury. They recently did Dandara, which I think was fun. Not necessarily all that we hoped it would be, but just the little ecosystems they've created in Bad North. It reminds me basically of like the Grinch. You know, in the Grinch, like they do like the pan to Whoville, and it's like existing on a snowflake. That's kind of what this reminds me of. Like, here's this little war going on this little like 1 by 1 inch island, and these like tiny poor people are just battling it out. But it's visually awesome.
Yeah, it's supposed to have brutal real-time tactics, and I'm personally a little bit fed up with like roguelikes, because like everything is roguelike now. All these indies like have roguelike elements, so I'm kind of done with that. But I'm glad you're excited for it.
Yes, so that reaches the end of this roundup. I think there are quality titles here, and I think that there are a number that will do really well. It just didn't really feel like, on their own, I'm very excited by this lineup, but when you call it an Indie Spring Showcase, I think I just expected something a little bit more tentpole and some updates on past Nindies, so that's where a lot of that disappointment lied. But hey, if I look here, I'm pretty pumped to play Banner Saga 3 on my Switch. I'm really excited to check out Bad North, and I will even give Pool Panic a go, because it looks just absurd, and I like that.
Yeah, the ones that I'm really excited for. You mentioned Banner Saga, but that one's like kind of a big indie, so that one goes without saying. Mark of the Ninja Remastered, Garage, and The Messenger are the ones that have me a little bit hyped.
Nice. Let us know in the comments down below, which of these 14 have you hyped? We are very curious to see and gauge your temperature on some of these new announcements. Which ones are at the tippy top of your list, and which ones do you not even want to try? Let us know. Thanks so much for watching. Fantastic day. Subscribe if you'd like to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch and future showcases. We got you covered, as well as our impressions on these titles once they sling themselves onto that eShop. In the meantime, though, follow us on Twitter or Discord. Links in the description below. We'd love to see you there. Until that time, though, for myself and Gabe, have a great day. Switch Force out.